Hi, I'm Kimberly, and welcome to As I've Seen It. The United States of America is not a Christian nation. Let me say that again. The United States of America is not a Christian nation, and that is by law. The First Amendment to the Constitution forbids Congress to create a state religion. Early 1600s, groups began traveling to what is now America, and a lot of them came to escape religious persecution. There were Dutch Reformed church members, there were Swedish Reformed church members, there were Catholics who came over and founded the state of Maryland. There were people that we call now the Puritans. And the Founding Fathers, by the time they wrote the Constitution, had seen for a century what happened when these previously persecuted groups gained political power. They knew that by the 1630s, these so-called Protestants were already massacring Native Americans. They knew that by the end of the 17th century, these so-called Puritans, given political power, were executing people who they believed to be witches. So they had seen the combination of church and political power and decided, not having that here in our new land based on equality and based on freedom. Yes, I know, hypocrites. The Founding Fathers could not have imagined the world in which we live, but they certainly knew a lot about human beings and human nature, because they knew where there were religious differences, there was the potential for religious conflict. The Trump administration is filled with people who want a war against Islam, and I'm not exaggerating and I'm not putting words in their mouths. These are their own words. Bannon has been saying since at least 2014 that the Judeo-Christian West is under attack from a new barbarity, which is what he calls Islam. There's plenty of evidence that they're anti-Semites as well. Don't be fooled by Bannon saying Judeo-Christian. He means Christians, and he means conservative right-wing Christians at that. Anti-Muslim groups have tripled. The number of them has tripled in the past year or so. And Muslims are under attack like they haven't been under attack in America since just after September 11th. Remember, not long after the inauguration, a mosque in Texas was burned to the ground. There have been almost 70 bomb threats at Jewish community centers in 29 states and one Canadian province. There was a massive desecration of a Jewish cemetery in St. Louis just a few days ago. And Trump gave a lily-livered response, I denounce anti-Semitism. It was so weak and so lame that the Anne Frank Center said that's like putting a Band-Aid on cancer. So Sean Spicy, was asked about the Anne Frank Center's response. So Spicy was like, I don't know what, the president spoke about anti-Semitism, and I don't know why that wasn't enough. He's come out forcefully. No, he hasn't. And then asked about anti-Muslim sentiment, Spicy was like, well, radical Islamist terrorist. He couldn't even say, we do not condone that. It is horrible. They clearly don't know America, and they don't know the American people. They know the small segment of Americans who are terrified. Those people who hate Muslims who've never even met a Muslim. Those people. Those people who are afraid of Sharia law, not understanding that the same constitution that forbids a state religion prohibits Sharia law. Those people. The rest of America believes in freedom. Freedom for all religions and for people of no religion. That same First Amendment that protects every faith protects people of no faith. It protects atheists and agnostics as well. They forgot that people on the ground were not going to stand for a mosque being burned to the ground. You see, it was the Jewish community leaders who stepped up and handed the keys of their synagogue to the imam from the mosque and said, "You can use our space for worship." And it was Muslim groups who stood up in the face of all these bomb threats and the desecration of the cemetery in St. Louis, who started raising money immediately to help rebuild that cemetery. Because this is what Americans do. See, these are people who don't know that back during the civil rights movement, it was our Jewish brothers and sisters as well as Christians who stood up and who did sit-ins. It was our Catholic and Jewish brothers and sisters who stood with these Protestants who were beaten, who were killed, who shed blood for freedom and equality in America. And it was an incredible Black Muslim man who went from preaching division, that Black people should separate from white people, to preaching that all men are brothers after his trip to Mecca. Let us remember, in this time of tribulation, to have faith in each other. Thanks for watching.